And I think we're live. Yes, we are. Welcome to another primary podcast from Democracy Theater. I am again joined by my good friend Ian Hammenhogan from The Objective Centrist. You can find The Objective Centrist mostly on Facebook, I would say. That is where he is the most active. And I will obviously encourage you to go seek him out. As we're hi Ian.
How you doing?
Hi. Hey, as we're speaking, we have Sanders obviously winning the New Hampshire primary. He has 60% of the vote. Clinton coming in with 39% of the vote. On the Republican side, Trump won and is the projected winner, and Kasich is projected to come in number 2. So that's kind of where it stands right now. I want to jump directly to the Democratic side of the election, and there is no doubt that Hillary Clinton went all in New Hampshire. She wanted to shrink that lead that Sanders had, so she can't claim that she didn't try to. And she didn't do anything. At this point, we have a 21-point deficit to Hillary Clinton. What do you think that is about, Ian?
Well, what do I think her big loss is about? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, basically. What do you think? She used everything, right? She put all her best campaign staffers. She knew she was going to lose, but she didn't want to lose like this, right? I think she was hoping to get within 8 to 12 points.
Yeah, they were apparently pretty surprised that they lost by any big margin. They were expecting to lose. I think it's pretty clear that New Hampshire follows the sort of politics that Bernie Sanders espouses versus the politics that Hillary Clinton, let's just say, stands for, whether or not she espouses it or not. I think that it's generally a more rural state, and I think they have slightly less appreciation for the establishment, fairly independent. He was, as you know, an independent registered independent party senator for the longest anyone's ever been in office, 8 years, I believe, something like that. At any rate, point is, I was not expecting Hillary to win by have more than maybe 30 or 40% of the votes myself. So we were actually talking before we went on that you were hoping to see Bernie Sanders break 60%. I would be surprised if by the end of it he doesn't break 60%. So there's no surprise to me. But the reason is, I think because of the type of people that are there, there's less sort of industrial, white-collar folks voting Democrat as much as there are grassroots liberalists, left-wing people, hippies. And I think that one shouldn't be particularly surprised, as the Clinton administration really wasn't, that she would lose in that area. I think it's really pretty simple.
No, but I certainly don't think that they were planning on losing this big. I think that two of the major things that happened in that campaign was, let me put it another way. I don't think that the reverberations of the Gloria Steinem mishap on Real Time with Bill Maher, where she basically claimed that little girls or young women were running after the boys, and that's why there was a vast majority of young women. It's like 80% of women under 30 goes for Bernie Sanders compared to Hillary Clinton. And when she kind of said that to me, I watched that program. I watch it religiously. And even Bill Maher said, if I had said something like that, I would have gotten in trouble. And she kind of blew it off. But I felt like it was a moment too. And then when I woke up the next day and just how people were like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's not feminism to vote for a woman just because she's a woman. And we're not with Bernie Sanders just because we're horny little girls running after the boys. It was so demeaning. And then Madeleine Albright, apparently her line is now too old to be spoken, because it is something, it is true that she has been saying forever and ever and ever. I mean, she's been saying it for so long that it's on Starbucks cups with her name under, as the person saying it, that there's a special place in hell for women that do not support women. I think that was two ginormous blunders. Right, the night, the 2 nights before, the night and the day before the primary, and I think that hurt a lot. And then I don't think that Hillary Clinton just has a consistent good answer on Wall Street, and she can't get away from that.
Absolutely agree with all of that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much to say there. I mean, Hillary is. So going backwards, Stephen Colbert did a pretty hilarious bit where he had Donald Trump argue Donald Trump. It was just classic. Right. And did you see that episode?
No, I haven't seen it.
It was, but I mean, it was easy. It's like he would say the people of Iowa are total idiots, and then he would say the people of Iowa are really smart. It was great. Right. And because he gets in front of the camera all the time, says all kinds of hyperbolic shit. So I would like to see the same sort of thing with Hillary, and see Hillary debate Hillary, because that's where we're at this point with her stance on some of this stuff. Especially if they could dig up some of her old quotes from like the 1960s. But I think
they got into politics because of the same election, the McGovern election, right? I mean, she was on the same side as Sanders was, and the only difference between her and Sanders is that Sanders is still espousing the same shit that he said back then, that, and she is not. Well, she's trying to now.
Yeah, she's a trip. So she is, as far as I can tell, an actual populist. She will say whatever she thinks is popular and will get her a popular vote. She has a real position, and that's what I think people need to parse apart. Is what's the populist Hillary trying to say? The politician, side of her is a very populist, and then there's the stateswoman, if you will, the real Hillary that will become a politician and we won't have to see that populism as much because it won't be an election year. Do you know what I'm saying? Right. And I think that it's really not going to work out well for her. People have been galvanized to pay attention to the issues. I've never seen, maybe it's just because I'm older now than I was in the last election, and I pay more attention now than I did in the last election, as it will always be, I imagine, to some plateau. But I've never seen a country so interested in politics. I mean, I think it really started with people like Barack Obama and then Sarah Palin, and people were like, oh my God, we really have something to talk about here. And John McCain wasn't really that funny, like George Bush really wasn't that funny. We have some genuine characters in politics now, and we have Stephen Colbert and The Daily Show before it turned to crap, having lots of really legitimate political humor getting pushed to younger people who are now older. I started watching Jon Stewart, for example, when I was like 18 or 20 or something like that. I watched his whole freaking Daily Show career, and same with Colbert, watched the whole career. And now I'm doing podcasts because I've been paying attention to politics for over 12 years as an adult, watching syndicated television and privately reading newsreels and so on and so forth, debating the issues. So I think that when I'm older, I will have a pretty good understanding of politics, and I'll be one of the people that statistically votes in all the elections, basically. And I think that we're going to see more people like me, because the folks that were entertained, like I was, by political humor will soon be part of a age bracket that statistically votes in very high percentages. So I think it will only increase that.
Are you saying the Daily Show is a gateway drug to
The Daily Show is a gateway drug for political cracks. Yes.
For political junkies?
Political junkies, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I mean, I hope that you're right.
Right, it's a pretty hopeful thing to say.
Well, I mean, if you look at America and the voter participation historically, right? It's not something to be proud of for people who are granted the right to participate in the way that they are governed. We don't really want to participate. So I hope you're right. Getting back to Hillary Clinton and her campaign, yes, I mean, on the issues, probably there's not in reality, that's my problem with Hillary as a woman. I actually do not think that she is that far from Bernie Sanders and never probably has been, but she contorted herself in order to become a person that she thought we would like, so that she could get elected to and fulfill her political ambitions. And that just doesn't seem to work anymore, in American politics. Thank God. And Sanders' politics is give and take, and add some years. Basically, the Democratic Party's political platform, up until the time when we thought that we needed also to invite industry and Wall Street into the political process, or when the Democrats, I say we, I didn't live here at the time, but the Democrats invited Wall Street and other corporations into the Democratic Party, because they believed that was the only way that the Democratic Party could compete on money, right? And that happened with Bill Clinton. So this is what Bernie Sanders and what the people who are coming, the people I would guess my age are coming to Bernie Sanders, is we voted probably for Clinton and we supported him in his trade deals and in other things. And now we've lived the consequences of that. And we now know that was the wrong way to go. And as Winston Churchill says, as Americans, we will do the right thing after we have exhausted all other possibilities. And here we have Sanders. And now we're going to walk in that general direction that we were walking on towards before with Jimmy Carter. It's my humble belief, anyway.
I'm having trouble arguing with any of that. I generally agree.
So, yeah. I was, by the way, impressed. Did you know that Bernie Sanders had 1 million donors that did about 3.5 million individual contributions?
Yeah, his server is crashed right now for his donations.
Really?
Yep.
Oh my God, it's fucking beautiful.
Yep.
It's beautiful.
He's getting as much money as possible. I mean, the route that he's going. I mean, obviously you can just have somebody write you a check for 900 million or whatever, but the way that he's doing it, he's maxing out servers, and I mean, he's getting as much money as he can.
Unbelievable. It's really nice to see. It's beautiful. And yeah, I love it. At one point I started to think that Bernie Sanders was the political candidate that I've waited my entire life to see and support. Like he believes, right and wrong, but he believes fair is more important than right, but right is always important. Right. So I certainly think that it has been an absolutely refreshing thing to see Bernie Sanders campaign, the way that he gets money and all the different things that's going on. And yeah, it holds steady. 110,782 votes. He's at 60%, at 74% of the votes counted. So it is pretty damn good, I must say. Kasich did really, really well. So first of all, I loved Bernie Sanders did well. He took up a lot of time. He knew that he would have the national spotlight on him. So he stayed on message and he talked to the American people. He even started talking about his immigrant background. So he did really well. And then I heard Kasich's, concession speech or whatever you want to call it. And he did something totally different for a Republican. He was talking about, hey, everybody should slow down. We should, talk to our neighbor. We should hug our friends and family. We should connect. He did all these things, speaking from the heart, and then he fucking ends it with taunting and saying something ageist about Bernie Sanders, and then doing something to taunt Hillary Clinton. So it totally just negated everything he had just said about being kind and loving and listening and all that kind of shit. So that was sad. I was just like, Kasich, man, you're blowing my mind. And then he ended like that. I'm like, fuck. Yeah, he's a Republican.
Yep. That's the same thing every time I used to listen to Rand Paul. I was like, yes, yes. And then he'd say something so retarded and be like, no, no. I couldn't do it. But, there are definitely plenty of good people, smart people, Americans who love their country, who are Republicans. There's no doubt about it. It's just that they don't seem to be very electable as far as the Republican base is concerned. So you can be a Republican and be very smart and caring and compassionate and an American that loves his country and wants to do nothing but be good for his country. But having that ideal is not really going to get you elected. That's like Rand Paul, and some of these people that are seriously in love with the country itself. And I don't see them getting elected. So I don't know what to say about the GOP anymore. They're definitely there. It's a party. It exists. It's not like it's collapsing. There's anyone who says the GOP is collapsing isn't realizing that there's nowhere else for these voters to go. Unless there's some party that emerges to take some, moderate Republican base and move them somewhere, the GOP's here to stay.
I would love a Trump Sanders general election, but I wouldn't just, I remember Democrats making fun and laughing and, there was stories every day about how stupid Ronald Reagan was and, how this B-grade actor would ever make it to become president. And that was just the dumbest thing that I've ever heard. So if Donald Trump becomes the nominee for the Republicans and Hillary Clinton is the nominee for the Democrats, I would not count that out. And Trump is media savvy. He's a quick learner, and people so far anyway listen to him. Although I have to remind myself, he doesn't control 50% of the Republican electorate, right? So I have to remind myself that. But he's getting better as a candidate. And when you listen to Bernie Sanders and Trump voters, right? In the two states that have voted so far, they're shopping each other. And the reason that's happening is because if you listen to what Trump is saying, he's saying some of the same damn things that Bernie Sanders is saying. And he's catering to the same downtrodden, fucking had it up to here about, life and the way that the economy and the elected people we sent to Washington has just screwed us over with stupid trade deals that didn't fucking work and just lying and selling us on an economic system that in the end just didn't turn out to work. And that's why Trump and that's why Bernie Sanders, I think, are the two main characters. And that's why when you interview those two group of voters, that they are shopping each other.
I don't disagree.
That's an amazing. This is the one podcast where I think we haven't disagreed on one thing yet.
Sure, we'll find something. I got to get going in a few minutes here. I have an early meeting that I got to leave for. I have to deal with traffic now.
Right.
But what could we possibly disagree on here? Well, just to throw it out there, looking at the delegates and the super delegates, we're winning right now. You know more about this than I do, but we're winning right now with the delegates. And Hillary already has like 200 super delegates that have said that they will pledge her their vote. But that's maybe 20%, or something. They've got something like 20% of the total votes needed to win the presidency through the super delegates.
Right.
If the super delegates choose not to vote for Hillary, as they certainly can, then that's that's up in the air.
Right.
They'll vote, however. But real quick, if she keeps those 20%, then Sanders needs to have a serious fucking victory in order to overcome that superdelegate hurdle.
Right, but
do you think that he has the momentum to do that?
Well, so what you're basically saying is that, and I've heard other Bernie Sanders supporters voice the same concern, and I certainly understand it, right? Because if Sanders wins with 50% and one vote of the popular delegates, right, he can still lose because of the super delegates, right? But that would mean that the Democratic Party elite decides that they want to override the popular vote, right? And I just don't see that happening. I don't see them doing that. That would be a disaster. I think they would much rather go in with a half-hearted campaign for Bernie Sanders. And I actually, if it continues to go like this, I think that the party will coalesce around whoever wins. Even Bernie Sanders said that in his magnificent victory speech today, right? He said that we have to remember, no matter what, a couple of months from now, we have to unite, because guess what? There's a party over there that wants to just fucking throw people out, give more money to the rich, take more from the poor, and went into his spiel. So, but to answer your question about the superdelegates, it's a concern, but I just don't see it. I don't see that the Democratic Party will overturn the popular vote, even if Bernie Sanders won by 50.01% of the delegates that it took.
Right, and you're not alone in saying that she might not have been able to actually have bought the superdelegates so much as people think, even though they've said they'll vote for her. If their constituency by popular vote says go for Sanders, then there is a serious possibility, if not the outright expectation, that they will vote for Sanders in those areas. So
anything
it is up in the air. But I just want to say that unless we know that that's going to happen, it's a fucking nail biter to the end. Because even if you get 51%, the super delegates can still screw them. So I think it's going to be a total nail biter election all the way until we figure out how the super delegates are going to vote.
So you're really talking about a political coup, and I don't think so. I don't think that they
will. You will.
No, I understand that, but I just don't think I understand it. I understand the concern. I'm not going, whatever, but I'm not. I don't wear that tin hat when it comes to that. I'm not that kind of conspiracy theorist. I
didn't say it's going to happen. I said it's a possibility, and so you're going to admit that it's also a possibility, right?
It is a possibility.
Okay,
yes.
We'll stop there. Signing off. We now have agreed on everything.
On everything tonight. Yes,
we have. We narrowly avoided that one.
That was a quickie, and thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. Ian, go save the world. Put some solar plans together in our capital.
Yeah.
And
another grant proposal meeting tomorrow. So yeah, big deal. So thank you.
All right, man. Well, again, Ian Hammenhogan from The Objective Centrist. Find him on Facebook, The Objective Centrist. I am Richard Scott from Democracy Theater. I'm at Twitter and on Facebook, and obviously here on YouTube. Please like my stuff. I will get better. We will get better, and I will have live calls coming in very, very soon.
I'm perfect. I was born that way, and I've been that way ever since.
Yeah, that's not what your mother says, but
all right,
have a great day. Take care,
Until
everybody.
next time.
Take care of yourself and take care of each other.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.